great collection. That's good. Hold on to that. There's a couple things I want to show you today. How is your summer going, first of all? You having a good summer? You doing some swimming to stay cool? Things like that? I hope so. We're good. It's always good to have you here, and thank you for bringing the collection of money. And then in a few minutes we'll put it in the treasure chest and offer a prayer to God. Do you have any idea what this is? I'm going to be talking to all of us about this today. Well, it's a fish weight, first of all. Have you used that when fishing? A little weight on the end to hold the hook down in the water? Yep, and this is just a piece of string. This is called a plumb line. Can you say plumb line? Yeah, it's not like the fruit, the plum. It's spelled a little differently, but it sounds like it. But it's a plumb line. Do you have any idea how you might use this thing? No, not many people use it anymore, but it used to be used. Some people still do. But you can use it to see if something is straight up and down like that. You know, for example, you might put it over here to see if this wall is straight. You see that? Does it look kind of straight to measure to make sure the wall is straight? Okay, so that's a plumb line. It's a very simple tool that carpenters use and others use. Okay, and there's a prophet in the Old Testament, in God's holy word, that we're going to talk about today. His name is Amos. Can you say Amos? Amos. A-M-O-S. Amos. The prophet Amos. And God says to Amos, I'm going to put a plumb line in the midst of my people. I'm going to put it right here in the midst of my people. And why is he going to do that? Because he's going to see if they're walking straight, whether they're living up to what God wants them to do. And that's what the plumb line's all about. It's a sign, it's a symbol for Amos that God gives to Amos to see if the people are maybe leaning the wrong direction and not doing what God would want them to do and want them to stand back up straight and walk the way that God would have them to walk. So I'm going to be talking about that, but I wanted to talk about something else too with you. I want to tell you a little story about a little boy, or it could have been a little girl, about you all's age. And he used to watch his parents a lot do gardening outside. He'd watch them take a little seed, like this seed. See all these seeds in here? Take a little seed, and he would watch how they would go outside, and he'd go out with them, and they would plant a little seed in the ground outside, and then suddenly a plant would come up and a flower would bloom. And so he decided one day that he wanted to surprise his parents. He got a little dish like this, a little pot. He got a seed and he put it down in there like that. He planted that seed in there. And he put it in his room. And he was going to wait to see that plant come up and blossom a little flower. And then he was going to surprise his parents with it. Isn't that neat? Well, he went in there every day for a week. He went in a second week and nothing happened. Nothing came up out of that. And the third week, nothing came up, and he really started getting sad, as you can imagine, right? He got really, really sad. But one thing he wasn't doing, he wasn't watering the plant. He wasn't putting any water into the seed. Now, when his parents put seed outside, it would rain. God would bring water down and it would grow and blossom. But he didn't realize, the little boy, that he needed to put water on that seed to make it come up and grow. And he was so sad by the third week that he, looking at that plant, you know what he did? He started crying. He was so sad. And his tears started going down in that pot. The next day he looked at it hoping something would come up, and he started crying again. And his tears went down in that pot. And he did that for quite a few days. Then you know what happened? It grew because of his tears. The water from his eyes. It watered that seed and made it grow. Isn't that a cute story? That sometimes happens in life. We go through difficult times or troubling times, hard times, and we may cry because of it. But sometimes those hard and difficult times and those tears can bring something new out of that. Can bring new life and new possibilities. And that's what Amos hopes for God's people, that in the midst of some of their struggles and tears, that their life might change and they might have new life too. The song I want to share with you today talks about the tears that bring new life. Yeah, that bring joy and new life and new possibilities and a new song. And this is not my guitar. This is William's guitar back there. And he brought it to me the other week because he needed new strings. And so I told him that I would put new strings on his guitar. The problem with putting new strings on a guitar is that they easily get out of tune until you play it a while, and then they finally settle in. Okay? So what I'm doing is just real quick making sure it's somewhat in tune. All right? This song talks about how our tears can bring new life. When God restored our common life, our hope, our liberty. At first it seemed a passing dream, a waking fantasy, a shock of joy swept over us, for we had wept so long. But seeds we watered once with tears sprang up into a song. Great liberating God, we pray for all who are oppressed. May those who long for what is right with justice now be blessed. We pray for those who mourn this day and all who suffer wrong. May seeds they water now with tears spring up into a song. There you go, William. It's all set.
Oh, hear William play.
And sing next Sunday.
Now, there's a story that goes with that.
You want to understand his singing?
That guitar only plays Spanish. I had to retune it to do English. But I was tuning it last night, and I heard this stuff rattling around inside the guitar, and I said, well, William's dropped his pick in there. So I held it up, and out fell a Frito. Is that who it was?
Yes.
And then it rattled more, and I held it up, and there was a second Frito, and then a third Frito.
Little Miss Mackenzie.
And I thought they were picks. Let's come over here and give your offerings.